So it should be no surprise that Grand Theft Auto 5 immediately became the cultural phenomenon, and managing nearly $1 billion in revenue on its first day alone. To date, it has sold an astonishing 90 million copies and generated revenue of $6 billion for publisher Rockstar Games. Unlike many other games that have topped 10 million units sold, Grand Theft Auto 5 has largely managed to dose sales from the individual game sales rather than console bundles. Commercial success aside, Grand Theft Auto 5 also garnered rave reviews from their respected critics. Some have hailed it as the best game ever made. This is the overstatement in my view, but Grand Theft Auto 5 is indeed an exceptional game. Grand Theft Auto fans will immediately recognize Los Santos, the sprawling Los Angeles-inspired city from the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. The design of the city is surprisingly accurate and on a smaller scale. A number of the landmarks can be made out on the ground and in the air. Lax City Hall, Skid Row, Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, Venice Beach, Santa Monica Pier, Hollywood, and too many others to name. Even the Salton Sea, a desert ghost town outside a real-life LA, is represented in the Los Santos distant outskirts. You start off playing as Michael, well, to do a former crook on a witness protection who is now living in the hills of Los Santos. Eventually you run into some other characters, including the stereotypical African-American gangster, who liberally drops an N-word, and a psychotic drug-abusing redneck who's impossibly to predict in any situation. None of them are particularly sympathetic or likable, but they can be goddamn entertaining. Grand Theft Auto 5 introduces for the first time a multiple player selection system. You can switch between characters even while you're in the middle of the mission. Sometimes it is required to advance the story. For the instance, one of the characters may get into a physically precarious situation with a gun to their head. In this case, you would want to switch to their partner in order to take out the threat. You may also do this during the driving segments. The AI takes over the wheel, allowing you to get a better aim of the target. It works smoothly and changes up the gameplay quite damn nicely. The characters in Grand Theft Auto 5 are raunchy, some perhaps even racist and extremely violent. Although Rockstar does its best to make the experience feel comedic, of course Grand Theft Auto has always been a magnet of the controversy. In the early 2000s, it was the subject of the scrutiny over the option to pick up and kill hookers. A few years later, a hot coffee mod enabled as a sex minigame excluding the final retailer's release, brewing the parental anger and the temporary re-rating of the games to adults only, until Rockstar releases an updated version without the minigame included on the disc. Despite the franchise's reputation, Grand Theft Auto 5 has not engendered nearly the same level of the public backlash and hysteria. Perhaps people are finally accepting that these types of games are here to stay and that they do not actually do the harm to society what their critics contend that they do. Either way, this game earned its mature rating, and the developers wear it as a badge of honor. That's not to say that Grand Theft Auto 5 doesn't have its scandalous moments. One mission that has you chasing down a celebrity teeny bopper so that you can record her having sex with a guy who is likely meant to be Justin Bieber. She then hunts your character down in her vehicle to try to take that video camera away. These kind of scenes are equally entertaining and completely inappropriate for young children. That should be self-explanatory with a name like Grand Theft Auto. Rockstar lets you choose from a number of different missions to progress along in the story. Some of them are side missions called Freaks and Strangers that do not have the completed but add to the backstory of the characters. At other points, events will randomly appear in certain parts of the map, which you can either respond to or totally ignore. The side missions are generally entertaining and adds a considerable numbers of hours to your overall game time. As far as the core missions are concerned, a select few allow you to choose how you want to go about the missions before it even starts. In the planning stages, you select whether you want to go smart way, or as a known stealthy, or whether you want to go in the guns blazing. You then need to assign a crew. High-skilled crew members perform a better service but take higher cut of the profit. The inverse is true for low-skilled members. In one of the missions, I stole a helicopter from the Los Santos area military base. It was surprisingly easy to do too. Anyway, the helicopter was used to pick up a miniature of the submarine, which was also stolen, in order to acquire some secret military weapons. Pulling off these kind of heists depends on what level of the commitment you want to take on in the planning and preparation stages. Grand Theft Auto 5 is the first in the series to implement online multiplayer. It's called Grand Theft Auto Online. After the initial having service issues at launch, the service have been going strong for over 5 years now, with patches and content updates that include new missions and vehicles, all which are technically free. You purchase the DLC content with the in-game currency that you earn grinding through the missions, or you can just use the real-world currency to unlock it. The multiplayer offers a multitude of game modes. There is everything that from simple deathmatch to racing and novelty modes, such as jets versus bikes. You heard correctly, yes, jets versus bikes. In this mode, you play as either a fighter jet pilot or a motorcyclist. The biker is attempting to get away to the docks. The pilot's job is to blow each motorcycle to the smithereens. These types of moments make Grand Theft Auto Online worth it, and the free DLC will have you coming back for more. From a purely technical perspective, Grand Theft Auto 5 is an impressive video game. It pushes the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 hardware to their limit. It looks even better on PC, PS4 and the Xbox One. Los Santos is vibrant, the scale is impressive, the numbers of the cars clogging and freeways makes you feel like you're in the Los Angeles itself. My main complaint are that I spend more time with driving around than playing the missions. The game lags at times. There are jags of edges in the texture, there are more pop-ins in the environment than the acceptable of the late-gen PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 game. Although the graphical issue have been smoother over the PS4 and the PC and the Xbox One release. On a balance though, the pluses greatly outweighed the minuses. The bottom line is that Grand Theft Auto 5 will please both long-time fans and past Grand Theft Auto critics alike. A lot of the issues with Grand Theft Auto 4 have been ironed out. Police enforcement is not nearly as stringent as it's been in the past games. It has a tons of missions and triveting of the open world city environment, an ever-evolving Grand Theft Auto Online to keep you up late at night, and Rockstar's signature cracks at the pop culture, politics and society more broadly. Best game ever made? In my opinion, I think so, yes. I think that Grand Theft Auto 5 is the best game ever has been made, ever. Well, it is to see in the future how Rockstar are gonna go about things for its upcoming Grand Theft Auto 6, and I cannot wait. Thank you so much for watching. I wanted to make this review of the 5 years since Grand Theft Auto 5's initial launch to make it a little bit more special. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notification at the side. Also, please do consider donating on my subscriber star or GoFundMe page. You can take a look at my Twitter, it is at ZDEyE. So, all the links down below in the description. Thank you so much again, have an awesome day.
Don't come wrong, she said I'd never